It's now time for Cappy, the Real Paranormal Podcast with host Johnny Rushing, the founder and lead investigator of Central Alabama Paranormal Investigations. We now take you to the studio for today's show. Here is Johnny Rushing.
Hello, everybody. It's time for another episode of Cappy, the Real Paranormal. Sorry we missed everybody last week. It was kind of Labor Day, so we didn't labor. Just because of that. But yeah, we're back at it again, and we are going strong and hitting it. And I've got the usual suspects here with me tonight. John's here. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Johnny. How's it going, brother?
Oh, man, it's going awesome. Especially now that I have you guys on. Because not only do I have you, but I also have someone else in the studio with me. It's Lydia.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Lydia.
And we also have the beautiful, the amazing Beth.
Hey, guys.
And Tom.
Hello.
And when I say and Tom, that includes the beautiful and amazing on that front too.
Oh, thank you.
Just letting you know. I didn't want you to feel bad or anything.
Thank you. That's made my day. Thank you so much.
Well, how's everybody's week been? How's everybody been doing?
It's been busy.
Has it been a busy week? I like busy weeks. I like busy weeks because they get less boring. Lydia, how's your week been?
It's been a week.
It's been a week
already.
A week. You know it's bad whenever someone says it's been a week. That's like saying it's
especially
been
on Monday.
a Monday.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it just started yesterday, and oh boy.
Yep. And here we go down the roller coaster that is life. All right. Well, guys, we've talked about equipment. We've talked about investigation techniques, evidence collection, and what we do with the evidence and how we store it and everything. But the one thing that we haven't talked about yet, which I think is appropriate now because we've gone through all of that, is how do we get the evidence? Is the case study part of it. What do y'all think?
Sounds good.
Yeah, because, you can go out there and investigate all you want, right? You can go out there and have an investigation every day and collect all this evidence and everything. But to be able to present that evidence, you've got to be able to debunk it, one, so you know if you can present it or not. And you've got to be able to present it to your clients and be pretty confident that it is real, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we have to
Very much so.
Yeah, we have to have case studies. And that's what that is when we take all that evidence that we've gathered through ever how many investigations. Theoretically, in a perfect world, what you would do is during a case study would only be one investigation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of several, because you should do it after every single time. But that doesn't always work in the real world. That's the perfect world version. But in the real world, sometimes you get a little behind, and that's what we are right now. Is we're a little behind. And well, except for John, he doesn't have a little behind. But I
have an elongated back.
Elongated back. Some people say stuff and you just picture it as soon as they say it, and that's what.
Where's the eye bleach?
Yep. Hey, there's Polar Bear. Hold on, let me get him in here too.
Yay! I messaged him again, threatened him with an inch of his lie.
There you go. I'm glad. Polar Bear, can you hear us?
Tell him I said that.
Uh-oh. You started with don't tell him I said that. So you said something you don't want me to know.
No, I didn't, Johnny. Shut up.
Polar Bear is with us.
Polar Bear.
Hey, Polar Bear.
Good evening.
How's it going, big guy?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
We're doing awesome, man. Especially now that you're here. I've missed you, man. We need to talk more.
Y'all.
We were talking.
I needed y'all after the day that I've had today.
Really?
There you go.
Are we your comfort pillow today?
You're my safe space.
Awesome.
That's it. Amen.
Awesome.
There you go.
There's nothing on this world I'd rather be than Polar Bear's safe space.
That's right.
Careful what you wish for there, biggin.
That's right.
Awesome.
I had jury duty today, about 4 hours worth. I got $13 out of the ordeal. At the end of it, I didn't get any information. I didn't be nosy, and they sent us home.
Oh, man.
Oof.
So do you have to go back?
No, that's it. No,
you're done.
The judge sat down. Court was in session, and he looked at the paperwork in front of him, and he stopped everything. He said, "Y'all hold on, give me 15 minutes." And he took all of the attorneys in the back and he come back out and told all the jury to go home. It was over.
Awesome.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what pissed him
Who
off,
cares?
but he was done.
Who cares? Who cares what happened?
Yeah.
You're out of it. That's I wouldn't. I'd be like, there's probably somebody that was in that jury that said, "I wonder what went on." I'd be like, "I don't care. It's none of my business. Yeah, it's none of my business. I don't care what went on. I'm going home now."
A friend of mine, he'll say, "My name's Bennett, and I ain't in it."
That's right. That is right.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
In all my almost 53 years of life, I have never been called for jury duty ever. Just about everybody
I get it
know.
every 2 years, literally.
Yeah, like everybody I know has gone to jury duty. I've never been called.
We haven't either.
Ever.
I went to a capital murder case in Bibb County 2 years ago.
You see, that's one the one I would want to do. I would get kicked off. They wouldn't let me do the.
I did get kicked off of that one.
Yeah, I would get kicked off definitely because I would be like cutting up and everything. The judge would be like, "Yeah, I'm going to put you in jail before I allow you to do this." So. But yeah, we're so
they
glad
found out that I
knew.
knew the slightest bit about guns, and the defending attorney. Yeah, he didn't want me nowhere near that case because he was trying to get that boy off.
Double capital murder.
What we're talking about tonight, guys, is case studies. But I want to put something out there really quick. Yeah, right. We haven't done one in so long. I want to put something out there. Before we do that, I want to talk about two things. The first thing I want to talk about is Petrillo Western Wear. No, yeah, how to keep you in suspense. I had to get it up. I couldn't get it. I couldn't see it on the screen. Petrillo Western Wear here in Selma, Alabama. Guys, if you've never been there, it's the old bank right in front of the old Selma Mall. If you've never been in there, if you still think it's just a closed bank, it's not. It's actually open. It's a Western wear place. John and I went there, didn't we, John?
Oh yeah. It's they got a little bit of everything there, Johnny.
Oh my gosh, man! They have everything from gun belts to spurs to tack to cowboy hats, boots, jeans, dresses, shirts, everything you could. If you want to play cowboys, you can go there and just.
Where is this at?
It's in Selma. Right in front of, it's at 1305 East Highland Avenue in Selma, right in front of the mall. It's an old bank that used to be there. That's what everybody knows it in Selma as, is the old bank in front of the Selma Mall. But it's at 1305 East Highland Avenue. And like I said, Texas hats, jeans, boots of all styles, kids sections, women's sections, men. If you have horses, they have a ton of things for them too. They've every kind of tack you can think of, saddles, bits, everything. I want you guys to go down there and check them out. They are sponsoring tonight's show. You can give them a call and say, "Hey, do you have this?" It's 410-227-2183, 410-227-2183. And it's for Petrillo Western Wear, 1305 East Highland Avenue. Get down there and check them out, guys. And you will not meet, John will contest to this, you will not meet a nicer couple of guys than the dad and son that run that place.
Wonderful, wonderful people.
Right. They were such a pleasure to talk to, and guess what they also do as a little incentive to their customers, John?
What is that, Johnny?
Thursdays and Fridays is a no tax day.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Thursdays and Fridays. Every not the second Thursday or the third Friday or anything like that, but every Thursday and Friday of every single one of the 52 weeks that we enjoy every year, you can go in there and no taxes.
Man, that means the ticket that you see on the item is the price you pay.
The price you see on that little tag is what you're going to pay, and that's it. Not a dime more. So yeah, y'all go check them out. 1305 East Highland Avenue, Petrillo Western Wear. Check them out. I'm gonna give the number one more time: 410-227-2183. We want to thank them for sponsoring tonight's show. And the other thing is I wanted to give, and I've never done this before, but I have fallen in love with this new show. Everybody knows that Cappy's on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And we do podcast and we do this. But there's another show on YouTube that I have fallen in love with, and I want to give a couple minutes to Polar Bear to talk about that and invite people over to this amazing new show.
Oh, Lord, just put me on the spot, why don't you?
Right under the bus, baby.
I didn't have a script prepared or anything.
You can do it.
No. If everybody wants to come see us, it's Keep Watch Media. We just recently started it last month. We're doing the best we can to get the lighting and cameras and the audio set up where everybody can enjoy it. But basically, in a nutshell, every time that I cut the news on, all I heard was death, mayhem, destruction, and lies. And one media assaulting the other media. It seemed like all Fox talked about was CNN. All CNN talked about was Fox. And I got tired of it. I just wanted to find out what was going on in the world. So I decided the only way for me to fix that was to do something about it myself. I started a small YouTube channel and TikTok channel, and we just report the things that are important without a whole lot of biased opinion in it. And that we leave it at that.
And I love it. It is amazing. Guys, everybody heard about the fires in Hawaii and what was all going on, but all we got to hear was what they let us and what they allowed us to hear. What I love about Polar Bear's new show is it gives you the untold stuff, the truth about it, the stuff that they don't allow us to know. Guys, definitely go check it out. Give them the name of it one more time so that they'll know who to look for on YouTube.
Keep Watch Media, just like you're keeping watch. You keep watch for your neighbors and report what you see. Keep Watch Media.
Okay, so if I go to YouTube,
Keep Watch on YouTube, Keep Watch Media on YouTube
and TikTok. Yeah, surprisingly, we've actually been really big on TikTok.
Awesome.
Oh wow!
I didn't know you were on TikTok.
It's been really good. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, the one video just the other day got 850 views.
Wow.
Whoa. That's awesome.
That is
for new.
Yeah.
If just starting out too, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see.
Well, it's just simple. I mean, I ain't gonna take up a lot of y'all's time, but I use video to back up what I see, or just screen flashes of content that will support what I'm saying. So it's not just me guessing or opinionated.
Right. Right. Yeah, and
short and sweet.
And what I like is
very factual stuff. Yeah, very factual.
You give the facts, but then you also tell people, you invite them to go check it out and to not, to make their own opinion.
Since you gentlemen decided to bring it up, I'd like to remind Mr. John and Mr. Tom, two very important gentlemen who have promised to be on the show, that would help my ratings exponentially, who have not showed up yet.
I'm waiting on you to tell me when. I'm ready. I'll come anytime. You just let me know.
I'd love to have you guys on there. People love a good podcast. I mean, I obviously look at what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our podcast is really taking off too, and we're super excited about that. So
yeah, it's we're really proud of that.
And speaking of our podcast, you can still catch Cappy the Real Paranormal on all streaming networks. So go check it out.
Awesome.
I caught Cappy last night, Johnny. I caught it late, but I did catch it.
The Cappy Live, or
the Cappy Live last night.
Yeah, that's our YouTube channel. We're also on there. Y'all can check us out at Cappy Live. Just go into YouTube and type in Cappy Paranormal, and you'll see the Cappy Live sign on there. And my Made for Radio face will be there, and you can hear me ramble on about meaningless stuff. I mean, about the paranormal. Yeah. All right, so great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you were here tonight, Polar Bear. I really am. I was so happy whenever your name popped up on the Zoom, because I said I definitely wanted to talk about Keep Watch Media, because I've been so impressed with that. So y'all definitely go check that out.
I appreciate that.
If you
that means a lot coming from you, because you got a face made for radio.
You and
if
Tom
I had the radio voice that
people.
you had, I would have it made. I get on in front of that camera or in front of that microphone and I fall to pieces.
No.
But you get on there and you're made for it. No. You honestly are just natural on the microphone.
You're doing so good on
You
there.
really are. You're doing so great.
You were a little nervous at first, but every episode
extremely nervous.
Yeah, you get
my
a
last
little bit more
episode I was just mad.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am. So y'all definitely go check it out. So let's get right into this. Beth, I want you to really give some insight tonight. I know I'm kind of throwing you under the bus too, but I want you to give some insight on putting together a case study. And of course I'll talk about the do's and don'ts and how to set it up or anything like that. But what I want you to kind of like key in on some key points.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know that we all get together, we bring our equipment, and we start on a client. And we have people that are listening to audio, people that are watching video, people are watching photos, and we're just, studying very, very hard to make sure that the evidence that we do capture is real, or we're trying to debunk it and go from there.
Also,
like on the video side, You know, we break, like she said, we break down into teams. We have people that are doing audio, people that are going through photographs, you know, people that are watching the video itself, you know, and what's really cool is a lot of us go into it knowing that we have certain things we want to go back and look at, because we document everything. We keep a record when we're as like video, when we're videoing something, we see something at that moment, we write the time and the time stamp and the camera stamp down so we can go back and look at that. Some of them will emphasize or, you know, put an asterisk or circle it because it's something that we really want to take another look at, a strong look at.
Right.
But what's really cool about it, and it happens in almost every occasion, is, and it happens with video, audio, and, you know, photographs. We find something we missed at the time, and that's always really cool. And it kind of shows you why it's important, because we missed it at the scene while we were sitting there. You know, we missed something on video, you know, and on a different camera that we might not have been looking at the time. And so it's really cool when you go back and you find things that you didn't see while you were in the investigation. And that happens quite often.
It really does.
And we'll see something on video, and then we'll go to audio and see if that during that time, if we heard something too.
Try to match it up.
Try to match it up.
Exactly.
Bionic ears and eyes.
That's
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it that just shows how important it really is to do it, because you can miss stuff while you're sitting there, because you're being bombarded with a lot of information at one time.
Exactly.
And
while you're there
while
on
you're
the
there,
investigation.
while you're on scene, and it's hard to process that sometimes. So you sit down and you take another look at it, and
Right.
and sometimes you find things that you weren't even aware of, you know, at that moment.
Right.
You know, and it's really, especially with audio, especially with voice phenomenon, because you don't hear it anyway.
Right.
Until later.
We have
You
such
don't
a
hear it
massive
until
amount
the
of
recording plays.
Say that again, Polar Bear.
I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay in my headset, but I was just going to say, like, for instance, we have one place that we go that's 3 stories, and we have a massive amount of audio to try to go back over. And so it's just, of course, you can miss stuff from time to time. And if going back over it, you get to, you know, going over it multiple times, if you get the chance during that case study, is helpful. And you're going to catch stuff again the next time, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what I tell people that a lot whenever we're doing investigations, especially if it's one of the non-active type investigations. And I tell people, even in the class, I said, you know, don't worry about if you're on an investigation for 4 to 6 hours and you're not getting that much, you know, and it could be kind of discouraging, you know, when you're on an investigation and not a lot of stuff is happening. Because after about
that you know of.
Yeah, exactly. After about an hour, maybe 2 hours, people start thinking, you know, well, maybe we can wrap this one up, you know.
No, that's where the science is taking over there.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and I always tell them, hey, just because you're doing an investigation and you don't think anything's going on, you don't think you're getting anything, wait till that case study comes out. Because when you do that case study and you're listening to all that audio or you're watching all that video or you're looking at those pictures, that's whenever you're going to get that type of evidence that just blows your mind away, you know. Excuse me.
Yeah, you guys taught me that when I started during the recordings, during the voice phenomenons. We just having an everyday normal conversation is sometimes when you'll catch the best evidence.
Right.
You and someone sitting in the room are just having an everyday conversation, and in between, you'll catch evidence that you just didn't realize. I guess it's the energy of the room.
Yes, definitely. And it's a lot of times if you're doing something like that and there's not a whole bunch going on, for me, that's whenever I really start kind of heightening my senses, you know, and that's when I really start looking at stuff, you know. And a lot of people would look at it and say, oh yeah, you're so bored because nothing's going on that you're going to start doing more to, you know, try to notice it. And it's not that. It's just that I know whenever there's not a whole bunch going on around me, that's probably the times that there's a lot of stuff going on around me that you just didn't know about.
And
silence.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
The other part about that is also it does. We have had it verify that there was nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? We have
Right.
gone back to case studies and had absolutely nothing. And while we were there, we didn't have anything. You know, it's just, it works up to both ends of the spectrum. You know, you find things that you didn't see, and you do find sometimes that you can verify you got nothing.
Johnny,
You know?
do you remember that investigation that we went on that there was the knocking? And we'd ask it a question and it was knock once for yes, two for no. And it kept answering our questions. But then when we got to the case study, there was no knocking.
There was no knocking.
It was,
Yep.
I know, it was so weird.
Yeah, and that's so discouraging too.
It is.
Whenever you we've had audible EVPs that, you know, they wasn't really EVPs because they didn't get picked up on the EVPs, but they were disembodied voices that we hear audibly, you know, with physically while we're there. And then when everybody's like super excited, they're like, oh man, I can't wait to listen to that on the recorder. That's going to be awesome. And you go back and it's just so disheartening because it's not there. You know,
Yeah, we've had that happen a few times.
yeah, and it does happen. So I mean, it is discouraging and kind of disheartening, but you know, it gives you that.
Yeah, but what an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that from you, at least.
Exactly, and it's still evidence because it's personal experience. It's a PE, and so we can still use that as evidence, especially
Exactly.
if you know if several people in the investigation experienced it. You know, and then it's credibly usable evidence instead of just PE.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I know if a couple of people or 2 or 3 people can verify the story, that makes it the personal experience, like you said, the PE, and that's evidence. I mean, that's credible
Exactly.
evidence.
Yes, absolutely it is. Yep. And using that and a lot of people, you know, they think if it's not on video or if it's not on audio, you know, or you don't have a piece of equipment that recorded this or that, you know, that's not usable, but it is. I mean, there's so much out there that happens during an investigation that is credible. Like Polar Bear said, it is credible, and you know, because it did happen. It's a personal experience, and it's a credible personal experience whenever it's more than one person. And you know, I've been satisfied a lot of times whenever something's happened during an investigation that only I saw or only I felt, or you know, and it would be great if someone else felt it because you know you could record that, but and put it as a PE, a credible PE. But you know, it's still a PE though. It's still a personal experience. It's something that happened to Johnny that was amazing. You know, and just
Yeah,
just blew my
nobody can
mind.
take that memory.
Exactly. They can't take that away from you. You did experience that. You might have somebody in the corner saying, "You're right, man," you know, but it still it doesn't negate the fact that you were able to experience that, and that's 80% of what we do is experience. You know, and
Johnny, can
just getting
you
that.
think of any experiences you've had like that were, I ain't gonna say life altering, but they were important to you, and you didn't have the equipment there to record it?
Yeah, too many times. Too many times. Back when I first started
I know
out,
you got pushed down an elevator one time.
No, I didn't get pushed down. I almost got pushed down. Yeah, that was at the old hospital. Yeah, I was able to stop it. I was able to put my arms. The elevator doors weren't open all the way, but they were open enough for me to get through them. And I was
This is
looking
my
down.
story, and when I tell it, I make it a little bit more embellished.
I actually go down the shaft in your version.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're the leader of our gang, so I have to make you the coolest of all of us.
Yeah. So in
Yeah, he was attacked. He
in
got
the
put in a
television
headlock,
version.
and they both fell down the elevator shaft together. Well,
crash.
Johnny broke out his ectoplasmic proton pack and took him out.
Exactly.
That's-
Ectoplasmic.
That's the made for TV
Awesome.
version of that incident.
Mate, that's the social media. That's my version.
That's right.
That's the YouTube version.
Starring
Exactly.
Zach Baggins.
But I
as
will.
Johnny Rush.
Yeah, right. That's who's going to play me as Zach Baggins. I want Jason to play
Easy.
me. I want Jason to play me. We're both bald. Well, let's let him do it. But I tell you, during that moment, and I tell that story a lot, and I joke around about that story a lot too. And then I also use that as an example on why not to do it by yourself. You know, to have a team or have at least one other person, or at least someone that knows you're there. No one even knew I was there that night. But if while it was happening, and I was able to put my hands on both sides of the two different doors that's going, you know, that closes together, I was able to put my hands there. I was looking down in that shaft, and that pressure that was pushing me through there was pretty dadgum scary. I mean, that was, you know, it kept going through my mind. It was kind of like well, remember the old commercial? They're sweet and then they're sour. It was kind of like that because at first you're thinking,
gummy bears.
yeah. You're thinking at first, it's like, oh my God, this is happening. This is awesome. I'm actually getting a physical entity attack right now. But then the other side of your brain is saying, dude, we're fixing to go down the elevator shaft.
Hey, buddy, this is real.
Yeah. So
Dude, we're
this
about
is
to
so
have to-
awesome,
This is so awesome. Oh my gosh, they're trying to kill me.
right?
It's not
Exactly.
a successful investigation unless Johnny gets hurt in some way.
That's right. It's not successful unless I'm.
And all it did was intensify his need to investigate.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a good question though. Yeah, there's been many a times, especially when I first started out, whenever I didn't have equipment that I could use to record and to prove, albeit no one's going to believe any of this, But
I was going to say something very hateful, like y'all's cameras were hand crank when you started.
No, we had the
But
little
I had a
little
little
dinosaur
reservation.
in there running on the wheel. That's what.
Yeah, his first entity he encountered was a dinosaur. That's right.
Right.
There's a sheet of glass and a candle behind it. That's how they recorded.
That's what all it was. We had to move our hands really fast across the lens.
That's right. Not that he's old or anything.
No, not
I didn't
really.
say that. Didn't say that.
It was implied.
You never used old, did you?
I never said it.
No.
I thought
That's
it.
right.
I never said it.
You used a lot of euphemisms, but you never said it.
Guys, getting off subject a little bit, but tonight I was in or this evening I was in a business here in Selma talking to them about this stage, about the show and everything, and another customer that was there came up to me and says, "You don't remember me, do you?" And we got to talking, and I recognized him, and after he told me who he was, because I have the worst memory, but he said, "Oh yeah, I'm a grandfather now," and his daughter was this little tiny girl, and he said, "Yeah, she's got a son." I'm like, "No, she doesn't. She's like 7. She can't have a son."
She was like 7.
Yeah, I said, "She's like 7 years old. There's no way." And he says, "No, she's not. She's a grown woman now." And I was like, "Man, I'm old. I'm so old." But
I think I'm headed in that direction. I
We all
caught
are.
myself today at jury duty complaining about what the young guy that walked up there was wearing. He was wearing skinny jeans, and it really bothered me. And I couldn't understand why until the older gentleman sitting beside me just looked and smiled like he understood.
yeah.
I realized then where I was in life.
Yep.
Exactly.
I'm part of the old people now.
I have reached that level of class and sophistication where I now get to make fun of the generation behind me.
That's right. That's your only
Y'all
joy
need
in
to
life.
just stay young like me.
That's right.
That's
Stay
right.
young like that.
We can't all be like that. So
Yeah, I mean those Eldridge bargains are hard to find.
right. But
Awesome.
another thing on case studies, we got to get back on track, guys. The clock is ticking. But another thing about case studies is and we've touched on this before, and I think even Polar Bear had said before that one of the things he likes about our team is there's no one person that's committed or assigned to just do one thing. We have managers that take care of different departments on the team. Like Beth with the case study, she's our client liaison. John with managing the team and the members, and Polar Bear with safety, and Tom with equipment, blah 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 blah, everything, but like Polar Bear was saying, once we get on an investigation, everybody does everything, so we're not all just kind of buckled down to one thing. But during a case study, you kind of want to do that, not so much as you want to have one person that does this and no one else does it, because like I said on cameras before, if I have to pick anybody on the team to do anything with the videos, I'm going to pick Tom because he's really, really good at it. But I don't want just Tom to know how to do that, because what if Tom's not there that night? I want Polar Bear to know how to do that. I want John. Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, and I want John to know how to run cameras. And I want Beth to know how to watch the videos correctly. And because during an investigation, watching the videos is not like watching a video that on TV or on TikTok or something like that, or YouTube. You've really got to be in it, and you've got to be able to recognize stuff.
Yeah, you
So-
got to head in the game.
Also, during case studies, you also want to put people in places that they shine at. All right, because Beth is never going to organize a case study and say, "Okay, Johnny, I want you to do nothing but listen to audio," because guess what's going to happen? Evidence is not going to get found, because Johnny has the worst hearing in the world. My memory and my hearing are horrible. So I can listen to EVPs, and I do listen to EVPs. I was listening to some the other day, as a matter of fact. But I'm not the best person on the team to do EVPs. I'll admit that, because of my hearing's not so great. And there's certain tones that I can't hear at all. So I do miss a lot of stuff. Now give me some pictures and I'm going to shine. I'm going to really look at it. And videos, I'm good at that too. I know how to gridlock a video screen and just go through it, piece by piece,
And
Well, at least you are smart enough to hire the best.
Exactly. I've said it before. I don't have to know what I'm doing. I just have to surround myself with people that do.
That's right. That's what a good leader does, is delegate.
That's right. When you don't know what you're talking about, just dazzle them with bull crap.
There's the flip side to that as well, though, is, if someone does hear something, we're not just relying on ourselves saying, oh my gosh, I heard this. We're going to, I'm going to, tap Beth on the shoulder and say, hey, listen to this.
That's right.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you what I hear. I'm going to let you tell me what you hear.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to have bias.
That's the way I like that you do that. You've always been that way, and I like that. You don't say, "Hey, listen for this squeak," or "Listen for this breathing sound." You just say, "Listen," and let the person's mind hear it themselves. And I think that's the right way to do that. I've always thought that was very.
Oh yeah, because if you plant that in them, they're going to hear what you say. Yeah, if you plant that in them, they're going to hear. There's a recording.
Don't say what you want them. Yeah, don't say what you want them to hear. And I think John does a real good job of that. I can attest he's always been that way.
Right.
And that's the way it should be done, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a recording out there that says, I don't remember what is the recording. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can, if you think one thing, you'll hear that, but if you think another thing, you'll hear the other one. I think I posted it one time when I was trying to make a point on EVPs. I don't remember exactly what the what the recording says, but it gives you two different lines that if you read one line, they play the audio, and that's what you're going to hear. But then you read the other line.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then they play the same audio, and you're going to hear that. And the crazy thing about it is the two lines are completely different from each other. There's no similarity whatsoever, but yet it'll blow your mind, because that's what you're going to hear. What you see is what you're going to hear. And so that kind of plays into what Tom was talking about. If John comes over and says, dude, I'm telling you, I just heard someone say, my name is Frank. Listen to this. Well, of course I'm going to hear someone say, I'm definitely going to hear someone say, my name is Frank, instead of I want to drink, or something like that. So that's another thing you want to look at when you're having people do audio. You want to, everybody on the team knows how to listen to audio, and knows what to look, listen, and feel for. But you want to have those people that shine in those different areas.
Well, I'll tell you this that I've noticed too when John has done that. I've actually, to give you an idea of how as you're pointing out how people hear things differently, I've heard John have me listen to it and me not get it, and then have Beth listen to it and Beth tell him exactly what it said.
Right.
And that's another reason I think that you should do it that way, because I didn't hear it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. Do you know what I'm saying? But Beth she heard it clearly, and I think that's why more than one person needs to listen to it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and because I've actually experienced that.
I mean, you do have some of those EVPs that there is no question
of
to what it says.
Yeah, of course.
You don't have to worry about who listens to it. It's 100% like get the out.
Right.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, that was a good one too. Yes. Oh my gosh. We can't say what it really said on the radio, but that was an amazing one. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That was like someone standing next to us talking to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you also have that extra layer of integrity there. It could be, hey, Tom, listen to this. And I'm using Tom as an example for a reason. And Tom be like, John, that was Johnny whistling in the bathroom. Oh,
right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Or polar bear farting in the bedroom.
Yeah. You know how those convicts are.
That was on one of our case studies, y'all.
Yes, it was. I laughed.
It really
so
was.
hard.
Yeah.
Going back to this, I know I harp on the science all the time, but that goes back to the clear, clean cut, precise evidence that we use, the science. And what y'all have taught me that from the moment I started was go in objective, go in clean, and Start with the science. Don't let a person sit down and influence you. You know, like before we go into a home, you know, of course, or a business, we talk to the owners or the people in charge, but we don't let them influence our minds. We go in level-headed with a clear objective, and we let the science do the talking for us.
Right.
When we do the case studies, we don't, you know, because we went into home and the owner says, well, I've been hearing, you know, the word hello every night at 9 o'clock for the last 10 years. We're going to go in at 9 o'clock. We're going to look for the word hello, because that's what, you know, it's now been semi-brainwashed. You know, it's the power of suggestion.
Exactly.
But we don't do that. We allow the science to have its day, and then during our case studies, we let, you know, 2, 3, 4 members of our team go over it and over and over it until it's boringly reliable that we know what it said.
Exactly.
Yep. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm terrible with audio, and I it's not that I can't. It's not that I don't hear well. I do hear fine, but it's my genre is video, and I'm absolutely terrible with audio for the same reason that Johnny says he's terrible with it, because he can't see anything, and it's I'm horrible at it, but I do try. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but I'm like Johnny. I'm not great with audio.
I would rather do audio than anything.
And see, I'm Beth, and I think John's kind of that way too, aren't you, John? Aren't you more of an audio guy?
Yeah.
I like audio, and also I like photographic evidence as well.
You do well with that as well. You really do. You capture a whole lot of stuff.
And you know what? As another thing that we do too is the pre-case study, the setup for case study. We during an investigation, we're always keeping it in the back of our mind on, you know, hey, let's make this easy on that guy that's got to sit there for 4 hours and listen to this later, you know, and we'll tell clients and team members, hey, you know, do us a favor, don't whisper, you know, don't whisper during the investigation, because later on someone's going to have to listen to this, and you whispering, they're going to hear that, and they're going to want to really sit at. We sit and listen to, well, not all at once, but over period of time, a couple of weeks, to a whisper on an investigation that turned out to be a couple of guests on the investigation. It was at a I can say it because we have advertised it, but it was at the Old Depot Museum here in Selma, right there at Water Avenue, and we spent like 2 weeks on an EVP that no one could figure out. And then finally we were able to get a good audio system and put it in, and it turned out to be one of our guests asking another guest, hey, can you, and she was whispering, she said,
but that
you want to go
volumes to your credibility. You were so tediously meticulous that you found that it was something that it wasn't. I mean, you found out that it was someone visiting whispering, and you didn't make it into something it wasn't. It was the facts.
Right. And that's
what's important.
Because that's the one thing that Cappy is never going to do. We're never going to present evidence that we haven't scrutinized in every shape, form, and way. Because
repeatedly. Yeah.
To me, the worst thing is to have to go back to a client, and I have had to do this before, but to go back to a client and say, you know what, it really wasn't what we thought it was.
Yeah,
it was.
We messed it up, right?
Yeah, it was one of our guests asking the other guest if they wanted to go pee. You know, and so which is what that whisper turned out to be, you know. So we tell them that. Not only that, but we also say, hey, if you bump your toe on the chair when you walk through this dark room, because a lot of what we do is in very dark areas, you know, and if you bump your toe, don't just bump your toe and walk away, you know. Say
I bumped my toe.
Yeah, that was Johnny bumping his toe, or that was Johnny playing with a flashlight, or.
And then eventually, at some point, depending on how long the investigation goes, you're going to hear Tom go, I tripped over that damn dog gate again.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what you're doing, that pre-case study during the investigations. You're trying to make it easier for potentially yourself or a team member whenever they're doing that case study, so that they'll know, you know, hey, that's what this is. That's not what this is, you know. And there's been many times that John has popped up during an investigation and said, that's Johnny whistling.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Now I feel weird, because if we ever catch an entity breaking wind on camera, I'm going to get blamed for it.
Yes,
exactly.
You will.
Exactly. You really will.
Yeah.
And I'll have no way to fight
that
it.
investigation.
And there's another credit to that too. There's another good reason to do it that way too, because John will attest to this. There was an incident where Johnny was whistling, And on the EVP, you hear me whistle. And
Yep.
I don't remember if it was me or John said, that's Johnny whistling. And then it was John that said that because I replied to it. And while I was talking, someone mimicked.
There was another whistle.
There was a mimic of my whistle that I'd just done.
Right.
I have a bad habit. If I'm not doing anything else, instead of twiddling my thumbs, I'll usually whistle. I have a habit of whistling. And
It's human nature.
yeah, and John gets on to me all the time. He's like, "Stop whistling," But that incident, because John did bring it up, hey, that was Johnny whistling, and then I responded to him saying that, yeah, that was me. I'm sorry, I wasn't even thinking about it. But while I was talking in the background, an entity, mimicked the whistle that I had done previously. So because of that, we were able to debunk the fact that was Johnny whistling again, because I've never tried to do it, but I don't think I can do it. I've never whistled while I talk. I think you have to be 80.
That'd be hard to.
Yeah. Don't you have to be like 80 to do that? To whistle while you're talking. But yeah, I can't whistle a tune while I'm talking. And so that pre-case study technique that John used actually proved the fact of that being a whistle, from a disembodied voice. So
and also that was also the investigation that you said something about. Yeah, I do that sometimes, and I think what you were saying was, I do that. John gets on to me, so he wants to just punch me sometimes, and that's when that whistle happened. As you were saying that,
right.
I was like, "Yep, that Johnny was talking. That wasn't him."
Yep.
Well, why do they mimic us like that, Johnny? Are they trying to communicate, or are they drawing energy, or what causes because that seems to happen a lot?
There's no real rhyme or reason to it. It could be they're trying to communicate. If you make a noise or say a name or do a whistle like I did, they may just be trying to mimic you, just to hey, I'm here, or it might be them just being pranksters, And
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I feel like a lot of that is a prankster type individual, that they go, I'm going to blow their mind with this one,
Right.
And that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't sit down and have a good meal. You can't take a nap. I guess the only thing you got left to do is annoy everybody the rest of the day.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to annoy the hell out of people.
Well,
Not me.
Johnny,
I'm out of here, folks. The first train ticket I get, I'm so gone.
Right. And another thing we
I'll
tell
hang
people
around.
to do, especially when we're doing EVPs, is we tell people to ask questions.
Exactly.
Keep them,
Yeah.
ask simple questions. And then when you ask the question, I think we used to say, ask that question 4 times in your, silently to yourself in your head, non-verbally.
Right.
Before you say anything
But
else,
I think we've pushed that up
give
to
it
like
enough time.
8 to 10
Right.
times now, because sometimes it does take them a little while to build up that energy to be able to respond to you. But that's another thing. That's another pre-case study technique that we use, because it's giving that time. I've had people during investigations, they'll sit there and say, "Can you tell us your name? How old are you? Did you live here? How did you die?" Which is not a good question to ask.
I
all,
don't
but
even
people
want to
do that.
answer questions like that.
And I've always imagined there's an entity in the corner sitting over there going, up. And then like, well, if you'd shut up,
Yeah.
I'd answer
That's
you.
what I was saying. As a living, breathing entity, I don't even want to talk like that. Give me a
Right.
chance to take a breath and answer your
Right.
question.
Don't ask me your
Well, of
second
course,
question.
something that needs to draw energy is going to need just a little more time and patience.
Exactly.
can you not freaking hear me?
Yeah, we keep saying that.
Shut up!
That actually happened, and that kind of goes in hand with what we're talking about, because this specific case that I'm going to talk about, it was that aggravation, because he was like, I'm talking to you. Why do you not hear me talking to you? Why can you not hear me talk to you? And this particular case, I was there, but I wasn't in the room. I wasn't even in that floor of the building that we were on when this happened. But our co-founder Corey and our one of our old members Mike were talking and asking questions, and they would ask questions and then do the little pause, and then they would talk amongst themselves. We get a lot of EVPs whenever we're just doing idle chit chat.
Right.
That's what I was
we're
saying
gonna do.
earlier.
Yeah. And so during them talking, you can hear in the background this guy. It was a very angry soul. He was a very angry guy, but he screams, "Can you not blank blank hear me?" and I was like that. Even we were talking about that earlier because it was such a. It didn't matter who listened to that one. It was clear what it was saying. It didn't. You didn't have to guess on that one at all. But and you know what, guys, we need to get some EVPs up to play on the radio during the podcast. We need to do that.
That'd be cool.
It really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Get some up, and we can do some. We can even do that one. We could just beep it out. So, but yeah, sometimes they are a little vulgar, and sometimes they're a little aggressive, or stuff like that. But
They are the way they were in life.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that guy. It didn't really mean that he was, a mean person. It just meant that he was aggravated because they wouldn't shut up and listen to him.
Right.
So
Yeah, he's probably been trying to communicate for a long time. Yeah.
yeah, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, especially if you're dealing with a juvenile entity, when you go into these places, sometimes when you go in, you're the first people to be there that's actually communicating with them. Everybody else has been talking to, the other guest or the other residents of the home or building or whatever, and no one's been actually giving them the spotlight, and they've been wanting to talk. They've been wanting to communicate. A lot of times with a juvenile entity, that's why they do what they do. That's what turns it into a poltergeist, and poltergeist isn't bad or evil or, all that stuff you hear on TV. Poltergeist is simply noisy ghost. That's what the name says. Polter, noisy, Geist, ghost. It's German. So that's all it is. It's just a noisy ghost. And so that child that's been trying to communicate with the people that live there for all this time, you come in and you're actually talking to him. Well, he's going to be excited, and a lot of times those are the ones that are going to give you the best evidence because, hey, somebody's actually paying attention to me. Someone's actually giving me a chance to speak, or giving me a chance to let everybody know that I'm actually here. It's not, mom's not crazy. It's not the pills she takes before bedtime. It really is something here, so
Right.
using those techniques and, not only does great for pre-case study, techniques, but it also does great because you'll get more evidence out of it if you allow that to happen. And us continuing to run our mouth and continue to ask questions over and over and over and over, you're going to get that. Can you not hear me? So that's what's going to happen.
And just like you've got those that are excited for the contact, you've got ones like at our house who don't want anything to do with you, who don't want to be captured on camera or on audio. We know they're there, but they don't want us to know they're there.
Exactly.
It's so
That happens.
frustrating.
Johnny, as far as the case studies go, I don't want to bring up your age, but I'm going to since it's already been brought up. But you've got more experience, obviously, many more years of experience than the rest of us do. But as you've seen the technology kind of change in the game, do you feel like it's allowed us to pick up more evidence, or is it close to the same, or does it seem like there's more activity, or
No.
how do you feel about like our digital voice recorders and infrared cameras as opposed to, Polaroid cameras in the beginning?
Yeah, and the ones ran by the little dinosaur running on the wheel. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a little bit,
a little more tactful.
nice.
Yeah. No, yeah. I get that question all the time. People ask me, why is the paranormal more active or more relevant now than it was? What have we been going on this current roller coaster, about 20 years, I guess, 15, 20 years. Why is it so much more relevant now than it was then? It's not. There's nothing that's changed there. They're still trying to communicate. They're still trying to cause havoc or get you to leave or whatever their intentions are. It's just the technology is starting to catch up with the field. It hasn't caught up completely yet, but it's starting to catch up with the field where we can hear those voices now, and we can use those videos and those infrareds and those FLIRs, and we can capture this that we wasn't able to capture, so long ago. I think back about the reel-to-reel recorder that I used for EVPs. Those things popped and skipped like a old 45 record. They really,
Right.
they did a lot. So I think back, I wonder how much evidence I lost because of the different sounds, or how much evidence was labeled because of the different sounds that the recorder itself was making. So yeah, and now now we've got recorders now, digital recorders that we can get thousands of hours on that it's crisp, clear, and just amazing sound. So I mean, yeah, that's a very good question, and that does happen. I mean, and we do get a lot more now, not because of the activity being more than what it used to be. I think it's always been that. It's always been doing what it can do, but it's just we're able to capture that evidence more with the equipment that we have now.
The more advanced technology that we have now, we do capture better quality evidence, but it also leaves the door open for someone like, going back to these social media guys, they fake a lot of stuff. They use that technology to layer and layer and layer CGI effects. And see, the older equipment that was used in the beginning, the Polaroid and the reel-to-reel, it was a lot harder to fake that stuff, I imagine.
Oh yeah, a lot harder. It wasn't impossible to fake a Polaroid, but it was.
But it wasn't like going on with an editing app like you can do now on a cell phone.
Right. Yeah. Now I can take a picture of Lydia picking the Statue of Liberty up and throwing it across the bay. Or
I believe she can do it.
I think she probably
Maybe.
could. Yeah. But and that unfortunately, there's been some good with the bad, or bad with the good, I should say, because you can, fake a lot more than what you used to. There's some videos and pictures out there that I look at now and I'm like, wow, that's it. That's the holy grail. That's perfect. But then that little voice in the back of my head says, it's 2020.
Careful.
Yeah, it's 2023, Johnny. They can do whatever they want to now. Yeah. So yeah, you're right.
I have seen a lot of articles of the investigators who are purists like yourself, and they're going back to Polaroids and stuff because it's more credible.
Yeah, it really is. I introduced to the team, I don't know what, Beth, probably 2 or 3 years ago, the cassette recorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those, I remember that.
Yeah, when those came out, when the little not 8-track, but cassette tape recorders, you push play and record at the same time. And
8-track, baby.
Yeah, and the little door pops up and you can put the cassette in there. When those came out, that was like when the first video cameras started coming out. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. How did I do this long without this thing? But and now they're obsolete now, but they're still a great tool to have in your equipment case because they're very hard to fake. A digital recorder, you can put just about with a small program on your computer, you can put whatever you want to on there.
Right.
But
exactly.
Like a classic car, and it may not have all the amenities, but boy, ain't she fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so it's not always a bad idea to go backwards, to go back to some of those tried and true ways and equipment, that we used to use.
Old school ways, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, those ways and that equipment's what paved the way for me to be here now doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it did. Absolutely. And
I pay my respects and my homage to those ways, and I follow the ways that we have now because that's what y'all taught to me. But I would follow those ways too. I mean, because I don't consider them less than.
No, of course not.
You're right. No, exactly. Which is all. The one thing it does do, though, is in relation to case studies, it adds a lot of work.
Yes, it does.
It adds a whole lot of work.
And another thing,
I imagine it would be harder on me because y'all make me carry a lot of equipment.
Yeah,
I'm a big guy.
Well, you're the strong guy. Yeah, you're the muscle. So
and a wheelbarrow with a reel-to-reel in it, following y'all around.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
He keeps having to drag that dadgum extension cord. And we're like, come on, catch up. He's like, well, if you get a longer extension cord, I wouldn't be so damn late.
That's right.
And I couldn't imagine trying to convert the equipment I know the equipment we have now is case after case and bag after bag of really expensive high-end equipment. I can only imagine what it would look like if we had to revert that back to the more classic equipment.
Yes,
exactly.
No doubt. We'd have to buy a van.
Cameras on the shoulders.
Yeah.
I like that's why I like to go into investigations like on a Saturday night, and you see the client, their eyes get kind of big with all these cases coming in, and you go, oh, don't worry, we're going to take all this with us when we leave here Monday, and just watch the color kind of disappear a little bit. And I go, I'm just kidding.
Right.
We're leaving tonight. Yeah, we're leaving tonight.
There's something else cool you can do on Saturday night too.
Yes,
What's
sir.
that?
You can go to Petrillo
Investigate.
Western Wear. Go to Petrillo Western Wear in Selma
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
at 1305 East Highland Avenue, and check out their horse tack, boots, jeans, hats, gun belts. They have gun belts, Lydia.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have really.
Got to go
Well,
there.
you should have
Like,
started
it's the
with
old-
that.
Right.
It's the old Western big
Yeah.
belt that you
Yeah.
put over your regular belt, and then tie it on your leg, and with a long holster.
Oh, yeah.
They're,
Well, that
they're so
doesn't-
nice. Give them a call, 410-227-2183, 410-227-2183. You can order online with them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so that if you don't, if you're not coming into Selma or whatever, you can do that. So just give them a call and say, hey, I want to do some online ordering here, and do it on a Thursday or Friday because that's the tax-free day. Every
That is
Thursday and
awesome.
Friday.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
tell
sir.
them Cappy sent you.
Tell them,
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely tell them Cappy sent you. Definitely.
Did you say they did belt buckles too?
Yeah, do belt buckles.
That's
They also
awesome.
do signs and business cards, and I mean it's just a plethora of things that they do there. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's
go
awesome.
check them out. And they also do another thing that's really cool. I just found this out, but this is really, really cool. If you have or if Grandpa has like an old Western hat that he used to wear, but he quit wearing it when Grandma sat on it that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have a reshaping and cleaning and coloring business there too, to where they can take your old
That's
cowboy
great.
hats
That's
and
neat.
reshape them. And
They're not playing there, are they? They're serious.
No.
yeah, they big time on it, man. They are big time. So anytime you need some saddles, tacks, bits, jeans, hats, boots, or a gun belt, go check them out at the 1305 East Highland Avenue. It's the old bank right in front of the Selma Mall. So y'all go check them out anytime, Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Someone that'll sell you all of that and a holster.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that's.
Why not?
I can't think of anybody in our area that does that.
Exactly.
Not to my knowledge.
Definitely. They're you will not be sorry. I promise you, because what I did was I walked through the store, John and I did, and I built me a outfit just by looking at the stuff. I said, okay, there's a shirt that I want. I want those dark jeans. I want those black boots. Got to have that black hat, and I've got to have that black gun belt. So I was going to be Black Bart.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was going to be completely
Awesome.
Western out. And so I was like, heck yeah, man. Also, I want to touch on not just audio and video, but visual too. Like with pictures and stuff like that. There's another thing that we could do with pre-case study techniques is we can wear shirts that doesn't glow in the dark. I've done that before.
Exactly.
I've done that. I had a Cappy shirt that glowed
Yeah,
in the dark.
Johnny.
Yeah. So I've done that before. Also, jewelry can kind of mess you up too. If someone takes a picture. We spent a lot of time on the
Right.
picture trying to figure out why that entity was sitting on my shoulder, and then I finally figured out it was the silver clasp on my necklace that reflected the camera flash. So
Speaking
Don't
of
smoke,
clothing.
ladies and gentlemen.
don't
Don't
smoke.
vape or
Don't
smoke.
smoke.
Don't vape.
No
don't smoke.
smoking, no vaping.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on and talking with us about case studies, because that's a very important subject when it comes to investigating the paranormal. And
Extremely.
I want to thank Lydia for being here, my guest co-host tonight, and John,
Awesome job.
Polar Bear, and Tom, and
Love
Beth,
y'all.
and everybody.
Yep.
Y'all listen to us next Saturday. Hey, guess what?
Cappy King.
2 weeks from tonight, we're gonna do
Oh,
we're gonna do a live investigation on the air.
Awesome.
Fine.
yeah.
2 weeks from tonight, we're going to be doing 2 weeks, not today, but 2 Saturdays from today, we'll be doing a live investigation on the air.
That is incredible.
You do not want to miss that. So y'all definitely tune in to Cappy the Real Paranormal next Monday or next Saturday and the Saturday afterwards, so you can join us for the investigation. That's going to be so much fun. Also, I want you guys to put on your calendar that we have Cappy Camp coming up. It is the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of this month. Lydia, guess what? It's right down the road from the radio station.
Right.
It's right here in Selma, Alabama at Paul M. Grist State Park. You guys get out there definitely during the for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll have so much fun at Cappy Camp. We do a class there if anybody wants to take the class. We do investigations. We do food, fun, and fellowship.
All the food.
Oh my gosh, so much food. So yeah, definitely come on out and join us for that. It's September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So that's just a couple of weeks from now. So definitely come out there and join us. And if you don't want to camp, you can come out during the day on Friday or Saturday or Sunday and just hang out with us, meet the team, and have some hot dogs and marshmallows and whatever. But it's going to be a lot of fun. You'll meet a lot of the team. A lot of the team's going to be there. So y'all definitely join us for Cappy Camp. Also, I want you guys to do me a huge favor sometime this week. I don't care if it's a friend, family member, or someone you meet on the street. Make at least one person smile, because that's exactly what we need the most of. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to Cappy, the Real Paranormal. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Lydia, you didn't say good night.
Good night and have a paranormal week.
Amen. Good night, guys. Thank y'all.
This has been Cappy, the Real Paranormal Podcast, a presentation of Central Alabama Paranormal Investigations. Please tune in again for the next episode and download any previous episodes wherever you get your favorite podcast.